We acknowledge and respect the Indigenous people on whose ancestral territories we work and play, whether the land is unceded or ceded. Your relationship with this land and your culture is one we admire wherever we are. We are committed to truth and reconciliation through regular, meaningful actions. It began with buckets. Eventually, a steam pump was purchased, and the Volunteer Bucket Brigade became a fire engine company. Back then, fire brigades, fire equipment, and buildings to house it came together through volunteer efforts and donations, not taxes. Canada was being led by their second Prime Minister, Alexander Mackenzie. The horrible legacy of the Indian Act began, as did the suffrage movement. The Intercontinental Railway connecting central Canada to the Maritimes was completed, and the world's first long-distance phone call was made from the Alexander Bell residence. 1876 was a historic year, and in my hometown, the Bridgewater Fire Department was established by a group of volunteers. 150 years later, volunteers remain the proud keepers of that history which preceded them, just like many other communities around the world. Today's guests on the Wildfires, Floods, and Chaos Communications podcast have nearly 150 years of experience between them, while Honorary Chief Reid Whynot is the recipient of the Canadian Volunteer Services Lifetime Achievement Award for over 50 years of service. Honorary Chief Wayne Thorburne and Chief Michael Nauss are not far behind. Over to you, Chiefs.
Well, it's an honor to be sitting here with these three, and we certainly did a lot of calls together back in the day. We learned how to properly pack hose.
Oh, got that right.
and between the four of us, I'm this tiny little bit of service that I have, but it rounds up to about 150 years of volunteer firefighter service sitting on these four chairs. Pretty incredible, and about 30,000 calls I probably got somewhere, something like that, which is incredible. So, first question I have for you is, how were you notified of a fire call back in your early days? We'll start with you, Reid.
Well, at first, there was no pagers. There was nothing like that.
Yeah.
We had a siren on the town hall, an air raid siren, and that would go off. And also we had a big foghorn type of horn on top of the fire station, and that would blast, like 10 blasts for general alarm, and different areas of town had different sequences, like 3, 4 would be the old Brady's building, or 1, 2 would be the old Shamrock store or something like that. So that was the only communication we had. And then CKBW would be called, and they'd make an announcement there was a fire call. But most of the time it was, in my case, I had my cousin call me at home on a home phone, and she let me know any time of day or night that there was an alarm going, and I had other people that would call me at home as well. Yeah. So basically it was just hearing or by phone.
Yeah.
That's all we had.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Did you respond on your horse or your Velociraptor?
Sometimes I ran from Dominion stores, but no, I used to, at home, my brother was a member and Dad was a member, and they wouldn't make the first truck or second truck. I'd make the first truck sometimes, and they'd be dragging back, but I would break some rules maybe at the time. But yes, we drove cars. No, standard.
Yes, standard. How about you, Wayne?
I think when I come in 1980, I transferred in from Pleasantville. I went down there for a year or two. I think the pager system was up and running, and we get our page on the old pager system, the old red pagers. You get your tones, and it would give you the number. And at that time, we had a dispatcher right in the radio room, Mel Robar.
Yeah.
I think when I came in, he was there for a long time, custodian and dispatcher. And that's how we got called. And there was a siren on the roof, and I can remember one time Bob Corkin coming in. We had a fire down the south end and fully involved. And I think the truck left without the BA people. They stayed in the station. But he hauled the siren on the top of the roof, and we knew then that was going to be a bad call.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's how we use pagers.
Yeah.
Basically.
How about you, Mike?
Yeah, when I came in, it was definitely a paging system that came across. Scotia Business Centers was initiated within a couple of years after I had joined.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that dispatch us now, and we get the call, location with the fire, and away we would go. We still have the siren on the roof, and it is tested every week on a Wednesday. And people often ask me about that siren, and I said, well, if you hear it any other day than Wednesday, you know there's something really serious going on.
Yeah.
So be prepared to listen to the radio station to find out what. we want you to do next. But that siren still does work.
Yeah, and I think I don't know. I don't remember if I assume it was probably when this hall got renovated. The lots of issues with us renovation. I think we lost power one night or something. It happened, and they actually ended up using the siren because something wasn't working right.
Yeah.
And I remember that it was kind of late evening. All of a sudden, the siren just started going berserk, and I was like, "Well, I better go."
If you remember that, you wasn't you in charge of moving us up to the exhibition grounds there doing restoration?
Yeah.
We just wanted from the exhibition grounds there for
Right?
a few weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we had to. I remember a lot of us. We had a little thing on our car to say go to the 4-H barn because not you go to the old station here where it's like we had to be up the hill, you know. So
Yeah.
it was pretty funny back then. So yeah. So and what were some of the calls that you remember back then, Wayne? Do you have any that kind of come to memory that you?
I have 2 or 3. I guess the worst call, or the most exciting call I went to, was actually I was Deputy Chief and Reid hurt his foot. And we got a call up to Hillside Pines, a propane leak. I had to think quick because there was so much to do. We had to do an evacuation. We had to get EHS involved. We had to get mutual aid departments involved. REMO was involved because we had to transport the residents from there. And the apartment buildings next door, I think there was 15 or 16 units there. Out of that facility, we had to call the power company to get the power shut off. And then finally we did get the propane shut off and got things back to normal. But it was scary because one spark and we were in trouble. We all knew that.
Yeah.
And we worked very close on that call with our partners. The Bridgewater Police Department are exceptional. They always had been, always will be. And it was a joint thing. But that's the night I was most nervous because, like I say, jumping into the fire was not really ever being in charge of a big scene like that.
Yeah.
It was scary. But
Yeah.
that
I
was the
was
worst one.
I was on the first truck that night. I think is that
Yeah.
same
That
call.
same call.
I
Yeah.
remember coming around the corner on that one, seeing the propane cloud, and I can't remember who my partner was. They were a little bit behind me. Right at the same time, my alarm started going crazy. That I was standing in an explosive environment, and I remember turning around and just chugging right back up because it was slippery. It just
Yes,
felt-
it was.
It was quite slippery, and I'm like trying to slide up the hill, grab my partner, and just whipped him around. I'm like, "Go do this."
That was in February.
Yeah,
That was in
yeah,
I
February.
got up
February,
there, and
yeah.
man, that truly was a scary incident.
Yeah.
I have to say, it was. It spooked me out. I'll tell you that, and
Yeah.
how quickly we
Yeah.
had to kind of make decisions to get things
The
moving.
next one, I was actually chief at the time, and this was on a Saturday. It was down in the Fairview Inn.
Yeah.
Well, all the guys, Michael and a lot of the firefighters, were up there because it was a training weekend. So we had mutual aid departments from Chester to Liverpool and everywhere's in between, and Lunenburg and the home bay. We was there all night, wasn't we?
No, I was in,
You were with them, but I mean,
yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely,
So-
and all that. Yeah.
but when I got there, actually, if I remember correctly, Andrew Richardson called me. He was over the gallows and seen the smoke, and the pager hadn't gone off yet.
Yeah.
So I was halfway down the hill.
Mm.
And that was another one all night. But I know we had a good team. We all got along, and the mutual aid here was great. And I guess I can remember that everybody on that scene was well trained, and that's one thing I can give credit to the chief now. Training has always been key, and it's important, So up to
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Reid?
Now, one of the weirdest fires, it wasn't a weird fire, but the situation was kind of weird. I had broken my wrist playing broom ball and had a cast on, and we had a call, didn't know where we was going, no pages in, just ended up at Firehall and just had a pair of shoes on because I couldn't really get my boots on with broken wrist. So
Yeah.
I left my shoes on, we had the old bunker coats and a helmet, that was it. Jumped in the back of Rescue 5 and we going back through Hebbville, and it was cold. It was the middle of winter and it was snowing. And I said to the guys, "Where we going?" There's Lockport. I said, "Where's Lockport?" and I said, "What for?" "No, the town's on fire." And it was a big town fire. And we ended up going all night, and we getting warmed up in the school or somewhere, take our coats off and stand them up. It was packed with ice. But I get home that next morning, and my wife cut my cast off because then I fainted. Almost fainted, but it was one of the weird ones. But then the other fires was some fatality fires, which I don't like to talk about. And Lunenburg fish plant fire, that was 3 days, and then the Main Street fire we just had, it was a good one.
Yeah.
And other fires, but yeah, the fatality ones are the worst ones, and car accidents, that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
we block it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
How
yeah.
about you, Mike?
I got three or four that really sticks to my mind. And one is we do medical around here, and we got a call to go to a resident. Your best friend is having a cardiac arrest, Wayne.
Yeah.
And it was pretty stressful that day. But, you know, when we arrived, we did what the job was supposed to be done. You kept focused on what we were dealing with, not who it was dealing with.
Yeah.
But after the fact, once Wayne got to the hospital and stuff, and it was a hard week to go through. You get one of your best friends there, and you don't know if he's going to make it or not.
Yeah.
Thankfully, all the check marks were in place, and as you see, he's still here with us, and we're thankful for that. But it was a pretty stressful week. Couple of the other calls that we had the Main Street fire that was kind of a pretty stressful night.
Yeah.
And I can remember arriving at the scene, and my deputy chief, Andy Wenzel, at the time, we're starting to set up, and we're calling in the mutual aid and stuff. And he says, "What are we going to do, Michael? How are we going to deal with this?" And standing on King Street, there's a sign on the sidewalk of Camaraderie, the 1999 town fire.
Yeah.
And I looked at the sign and I said, I'm telling you one thing, my name is not going on that sign. And he kind of laughed at me, and I said, if it gets to the point, we're going to cut it off here and we're going to cut it off over here. We'll bring machines in to stop the fire.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the fire did stop where we said it was going to stop.
Yep.
We had fire departments from Chester to Liverpool here helping us out. 3 aerial ladders were on that call that night.
Yes.
Working it from the behind the town hall and also on the main street of Bridgewater. But a little over 24 hours there doing that call, and it was quite stressful.
Yeah. That was a
sure.
big ugly fire, the one that we always feared when I was in.
Yeah.
You
And it
never wanted to
seems
get
like no matter what, every fire chief always gets that real big one.
Yep.
And then everything finally kind of settles down a little bit. So,
Yeah.
So I was glad to see that my big one was gone. I thought it was anyway.
Yeah.
But in 23, we had some major rains and stuff here in Bridgewater, and we had major flooding go on in a 9-hour period. And that was kind of interesting to do what we had to do, because we had 104 calls for help from residents in the town looking to see what we could do for them. And really the only thing that we could do is go to their homes, see how much water was coming into their basements or whatever, and ensure that any electrical was cut off, and just make sure of that. So it was, our crew was really, really great. We had probably 7 different teams that were going around, and as the calls came in, marking down where the addresses are, sending 1 or 2 guys over to check the house out. If the power needed to be shut off, that's what we done.
Yep.
We didn't pump a whole lot of water because you couldn't stop the water from coming in. So, but we maintained to make sure that there was no other threat to the homes for those people.
Yeah. And important to note that the whole province was in the flood situation on this end of the province.
It wasn't as easy as to call in mutual aid that particular night because everybody else was busy as well.
Yeah.
But, it was a learning experience, and no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot that night.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Because I remember when we were in, we had a flood the one year, but it wasn't that bad. It was going over the road and stuff. We didn't have any too major damage. I mean, there were some certainly in some spots, but pretty minimal. But yeah, that one was a doozy. And floods are done floods since then. And I always tell people I hate them because they give the wrong impression that maybe things are okay, and they're not.
Yeah.
And so you think that things can be saved, and they're not. So I'm curious to what the
what the interaction between the fire department and the public was like in your earlier days. So, Reid, why don't you start this one?
Back in the day, like the fire department, which still is good, but back in our day, the fireman was number one in the community. If you're a fireman, they really respected you. So if we had any issues or any requests, the public would look after us. And there's hardly any hassle. There's none that I can mention. The only conflict we might have had once in a while is if a car didn't stop right away at a scene, we had constables in, and a headlight might get damaged.
Yeah.
But everything else was great. But we had a couple constables a little quick on the hammer on the flashlight. But anyway, the public relations was really good in our day. Yeah, and still is pretty good.
Yeah.
But not as good.
Yeah. What about you, Wayne? Back in your
Yeah, and we were well respected by the public and our residents. And when we had our garden parties or we had our breakfasts, whatever we had, we was always supported by the residents. And I always figured, and it's probably to this day, the older part of town that knew us would always support us more so than the newer part of town that didn't know us because they thought we was getting paid.
Yeah.
We was a paid department, but we're still volunteer. And I think next year marks our 150th anniversary, if you remember that correctly. Yeah. So, and the residents were fine. And I hated coming here to do the garden party canvas, but once I got out on the street, it was fun.
Yeah.
And the public enjoyed that as well.
Yeah.
So, no, it was great.
Yeah. What about you, Mike?
Since COVID, I've noticed that the public has made the turn and started to support even more than what they ever did before, as far as I can tell. We don't do the annual fair and annual canvassing or anything anymore, but we do have a real great fundraiser through the province of Nova Scotia. Amherst Firefighters Association put on a 50-50 lotto that they do weekly, and that raises a lot of funds for all the fire departments in the province of Nova Scotia. And that started right after COVID came in. It's been a great thing. As far as getting information out to the public, I find it a lot easier now. We're very lucky here in Bridgewater. We have a communication person that works for the town of Bridgewater, and they'll put notices out right away when we're out on a call to say, avoid this area. Firefighters are involved in an incident, and I don't even have to call to make that arrangement. They're doing it for me automatically, so that's really good, and the public do pay attention to that. So they're understanding more.
Yeah, so that's good. And so, like when you think back years ago, we've seen some stuff in recent years where there's, everything theft, sabotage, and fights and things like that among. Do you remember anything like that back when you started out?
No, not from fire. No.
Yeah.
No.
We did have a theft here once of a portable radio, and we eventually did catch him by accident. He happened to be in the hall one day when the pager went off, and he had a portable on him.
Is that right?
So we suspended him, and he actually joined another fire department. We didn't proceed with it, but that's the only thing that I come across. And he was immediately relieved of his duties, and
Just a little too excited. Thank you, listeners and viewers, for sticking with us as we navigated some difficult moments over the last year. We need our momentum back and appreciate any support that you can give us. Subscribing is huge for us. Sharing is big as well. And of course, guest and topic ideas. Do it all at communicationspodcast.com, where you will see many new episodes in the coming weeks and months. Hello to our viewers and listeners in Spain, as well as these communities: Chonburi, Thailand; Cudworth, Saskatchewan; Smithwick, United Kingdom; Seongdong-gu in South Korea; and Thornton, Colorado, which is probably the only one I said correct. Thank you so much for listening and watching. As a kid, I remember going to fires. I mean, you were talking about the radio would put it on, so everybody knew right away if there was a fire, right? And that's the way it used to be. And I remember fires having big audiences. I can't, go there and to be hundreds of people there, and sometimes more, maybe, I don't know, but it was the era before the internet, so that was your entertainment for the afternoon or evening, I suppose you could say, as sad as it was. But people came to watch. So, and they heard the siren, they heard it on the radio station, and that brought those big crowds. So, how did you manage those crowds back then? Like, because that was a big thing. You don't see that anymore unless it's a really big incident.
We kind of had people that we had our constables at the time too, and they keep some people back, but
Yeah.
a lot of times we commandeer the people if they were standing around doing nothing. We got them lug hose or do things, and
Yeah.
we kind of, you can't do that nowadays, kind of liability, but
Yeah.
years ago you could get away with it. But in general, people would help, and if they didn't, they'd back off after a while. It just get boring after a while, but
Yeah.
unless it was a good one, real good one. But
Yeah.
but there was no issues as far as
Yeah.
security then or nothing like that.
And the police were always here with us too.
Yeah.
So if we
Yeah.
hit anything, we
We
wanted
needed-
somebody removed, we just point to the police,
And they're gone.
gone.
Yeah.
And today, our police department is awesome to work with. And they have our back all the time. And they're there as soon as we get there. And if we need more space, they make sure we get it. And there's no turning back on any of that. I just chuckle about it sometimes now is because you mentioned about internet, Facebook, and all that.
Yeah.
Most of the time, we'll see that fire
Yeah.
before we even arrive on scene.
Mm.
They're putting it on Facebook right away, and sometimes that makes sure that people don't come around because they're saying, okay, they got something bad.
Yep.
They need the room to work with, but you're still getting a few people that are watching and stuff like that, but not nearly as bad as it used to be.
Yeah.
But I think, as Chief Reid said, having the fire constables, and we had a bunch of them, and I can remember a few names, they went out and they would set up and block the streets off to
Yeah.
prevent cars from going there. And they was there when we come down with the trucks
Yeah.
to let us in and secure the area. So
Yeah.
they were way ahead of their time
Yeah.
as far as safety goes on the fire ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. So in those big calls, like you mentioned the downtown fire earlier, we had ice jams here, Anthrax scare. Remember that one?
Yep.
We had a couple of those actually.
Yeah.
Dealt with airline crashes, Lunenburg church fire. They leave memories, right? They leave pretty indelible memories because you're out there for a long time. So what's an incident that you can think of that had an impact, which had a big impact on the residents when you think about it that you remember?
Biggest one I recall was the mother and 3 sons. And that told a lot of people to start using smoke detectors, and that helped a lot for years. But that was the biggest and hardest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Down on Jubilee Road.
Yeah.
Yeah. We was all on that call. I think actually Bob Corcoran was chief at
Yeah.
the time.
The deputy.
Yeah. Yeah, I was in the junior fire department then,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
I remember that one
that-
quite well.
that
That was that was a tough call, but it really did impress upon people the importance
Yeah.
of being safe around with fire and knowing that can happen. So yeah.
I lived right across the street from that, and I was the first one there on scene. And like you knew there was issues, and but the general public actually took heed to it and really took notice of what was going on.
Yeah.
Even to the point that they helped the firefighters try to deal with the issues that were there, and really gave the space and talked to one another to make sure that we were okay as well. So it was big issue there.
Yeah. Any others that come to mind that you think about that interaction with the public? I think back to the church fire, and I remember at one point in time, I was on the second wave of crew that came from this station to go into Lunenburg,
Yeah.
and so I was there as nighttime became daytime, and couldn't really see that people that well
No.
because of the way the lights were and everything. But as daytime came, I remember looking over my shoulder and just seeing people crying.
Yeah.
You know, just crowds of people.
Yeah.
Crowds. It was hundreds, thousands on that one probably around watching. It was just that was definitely stuck with me.
Yeah. My neighbor had operated the excavator at the time, and he still has memories about stuff he had to do that night to stop that fire.
Yeah.
And he talks about it quite often. So it's big impact.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you remember about people's reaction when you're on out there on different calls. It could be a smaller call, it could be a bigger call. What kind of reactions do you remember that you stick with you? You mentioned people helping when you need help, right?
Yeah.
And what about other things that have happened out there?
Well, with me, stuff happens, but one of the funniest things that happens is I had a habit when I going on a call of asking the driver if he knew where he was going,
Yeah.
just to double check.
Yeah.
And poor old Captain Todd Omberg, he was just a driver at the time, and we was going to Frank's Lane. And we got in the truck. I said, you know where we're going? Yeah. So we get down to York Street lights. I expect him to go left. He went straight through. And then once he got through, you should have seen his eyes. He looked at me. He knew he missed the turn. So we went up across North Park Street and down
Circle
on the
back.
street. Yeah. So it's kind of funny. And some of that happened. I know Peter Gatt was out with a guy one time. I think Van Silver was driving. We were supposed to go right, and he went left. So it's always good to double check. I mean, the adrenaline flows when the
Oh,
pager
big
goes
time.
off.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
So the chief's job is to try to be as calm as possible to prevent your firefighter from getting excited.
Yeah.
You know, and they get confident in you, and they trust you, and they know you, and they'll do anything for you. But you've got to build that trust by the things that you do and set the bar for them.
Yeah.
And always interact with them, always try to coach them, always try to help them, and always challenge them to be a better.
Yeah.
So that's what's important.
It's a little aside right now, but as you've said that, this is the guy I've told a lot of firefighters about, that we on a dumpster call one night, fire, and we repacked the hose, I think 3.5 times until we got it right, because you were like, not satisfied, pull it off again. And I said, I learned to pack hose that night. 3:00 in the morning.
Well,
I'll tell you, after that, I never did it wrong. So, yeah.
Well, I always felt it was important, especially when you're doing somebody else's truck,
Yeah.
to leave it better than you
Yeah.
found it.
Yeah.
And that's where your pride comes from.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of people repacked hose, but I even got a tut for Christmas one time.
Yes, you did.
There's potatoes in the oven, and they're turning nice and brown. There's a great big watermelon as the season rolls around. In the icebox there's a turkey, in the smokehouse there's a ham. But I'd rather be a donkey than a poor white man. Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Someone's in the kitchen, I know. Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Strumming on the old banjo and singing fee-fi, fiddly-i-o. Fee-fi, fiddly-i-o. Fee-fi, fiddly-i-o. Strumming on the old banjo. Slide, Kelly, slide, now Casey's at the bat. Down went Miggity, now what do you think of that? Think of that. The old oaken bucket, old Black Joe. Old Mamie, Riley.
Anything that you kind of remember of people and things like that?
Well, the things that I remember, and it's our own guys that are in the fire department. I kind of chuckle about it, because if my voice goes up high, they know we got an issue up there, and it's going to be a good fire.
Yeah.
If I don't say hardly anything alone, they know that it's nothing serious to go through. But they always torment me when I'm running. Boy, you're getting pretty excited this time, Michael, and stuff like that. But I think with our membership, they're able to interact back and forth. We can pick up one another's at the right time.
Yeah.
And it's good that way.
Yeah.
And it really helps. And it's like Wayne said, you really got to be able to be hard-nosed when you need to be hard-nosed with your members.
Yeah.
But you also got to be able to go along with them and have a little bit of fun at the same time. It makes great working relationships, and I really found that a lot, and it works great.
Yeah.
So I like the way that it's been going. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to highlight that, I remember we had a oil truck lost his brakes coming down Dufferin Hill and
Oh, yes.
rolled over and ran into a building and oil everywhere. And I come across the bridge in my car and I just called back to base and said we had a code then of what kind of call it was. And I said 3 letters, and that's all it took, and everything rolled.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't say what it was.
Yeah, I think it was HFF.
HFC.
HFC, okay, yeah. HFC, yeah.
And it worked. And
It
we
works,
had
yeah.
the Coast Guard there, we had the helicopters,
Yeah,
we had search and rescue, everything. And it
Everything
was
was
major.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to break that down, it was a holy F call.
I didn't say that.
And I definitely heard that one a couple times. So.
Yeah.
I remember too. Is I got to give a little credit to Johnny Wenzel, the deputy chief here, and I remember
Carl.
he was the calmest of all.
Yeah.
One time he pulls up and there's a structure fire, everything's going, and he just comes across the rail. You better empty the barn.
Yeah.
That was it. I was like, I think it's bad.
Yeah.
But he was so
Pretty
calm.
laid back. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about a memorable time working to communicate something to the public, whether it was good or bad. What happened? What did you do that you were that were kind of challenging or whatever? I know you're gonna.
I'm gonna grab this one. We had an ice jam that was really causing problems. On all Main Street was pretty good, but on the other side, on Dominion stores and this kind of stuff, and the mall and all that, there was a big issue about that wall caving in and this kind of stuff. And we had all kinds of media there. CTV was there and CBC and all that. And I've been known to ramble a little bit. So what I did, I delegated right off the bat. I got Tim to do the PR work and communications, and it worked great because I didn't have to say nothing the rest of the day and night.
Yeah.
But it worked out good because you delegate, and that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Because I had work to do, and my deputy had work to do, and it worked out great. But communications was handled by somebody that knew what they was doing, and it took the pressure off of me. But
Now I do want to add, since he's brought this story up, because there's another part of this story.
so you told me.
I did great. Yeah, I did the best I could with what I had to work with, and that included him.
Oh, right to the heart, right to the heart. We're excited.
And so this is back at a time when there was multiple satellite trucks, and they're
Yeah.
doing live feed across the world. Really, it was a very popular story across Canada, and they were with us for a couple days. And the first night, I remember I was like, okay, they really want to interview you as the chief and the incident commander. And he was no, you can do it. I was like, no, they really want to. So I get him, I convince him, I get him up there, I get him in front of the camera, he's got the mic on and everything. And it was really cold. So I went inside and was inside and warming up in their satellite truck because it was nice and toasty in there. And we're inside and we're watching the screen. He's out there and he's got the camera in just himself with his mic on, and he puts on a heck of a performance for us. So somewhere out there's a tape of that. It might show up someday. I haven't seen it again.
No proof.
Yeah. So thanks to that, the reporter Liz Rigney is still a friend because I was like, please don't play that. Yeah, he put on a good show. So how about you, Mike? I think that action was.
When we had the King Street fire the following morning, they had some of the reporters come in and they wanted to do interviews and stuff. And I was working with the guy from the town of Bridgewater as well. And I found that the reporters were very, very good to deal with.
Yeah.
I remember saying to one of them, I do have some report that I will give you. You just got to give me a little bit of time to get myself together and make sure everything's fine here in the scene. And she went up in the corner of behind the town hall, sat on the wall and waited, and never pressured me to come along and get things done.
Yeah.
And then when I finally said that I was ready, I nodded to her, and then she came down. And it was really easy to do the interview because she didn't pressure me the way I thought it was going to happen.
Yeah.
So now, what we do now today is I'll do a little bit of a blurb, and then I let the the guy from town to
Yeah.
do the rest of it.
Yeah.
Because there's more stuff that I have to continue to do or
right.
or our members. So
Yeah.
it's easier to have somebody really do a lot of your press release, but
Yeah.
no matter what, the big guy has to make an announcement from time
Yeah.
to time.
They're still looking for
You
that
just have to
statement.
do that.
Yeah. They always want that statement from you. It's just a quote that they're going to put on air or whatever. And yeah. What about you, Wayne?
Well, I'd have to go back to the Hillside Pines one. We had a joint conference there. I didn't have any public information officer at that point in time. But one thing I learned that was to be honest and be patient and answer the question to the best of your ability. And there's nothing that's off the record. So what you're going to say, be truthful, be honest, and don't say off the record, this happened or that happened. Because, but it was good. I mean, but I always spent special time with the reporters. Keith Cochran was one of the ones when I was chief, and I trusted him and he trusted me, and we had a good working relationship. And those guys can help you.
Yeah.
Big time if you let them. But you've got to be honest and fair with them.
Yeah. I remember when Keith came, he wasn't as easy to work with.
No, he
at
wasn't.
first. And I remember we had some good discussions about that. All of us did together. And I was like, let me give some, I worked with Keith, and it was just, I burned after a bit. Just like most reporters, they just want more information. They weren't getting what they want. And I was like, well, I can give you that, like we'll arrange that. We'll make it happen. So,
But just answer their questions.
Yeah, stick to the
Stick to the topic.
Yeah, you don't have to wander too much. That's
No,
one thing. You
no.
get yourself in trouble when you
Yeah,
wander before you
absolutely.
become a politician.
Right. Been there, done that.
No.
Yeah.
You too.
Right. Two of them sitting here. No, they sort of retired from firefighting and went on to be politicians.
I'm not dead yet.
So what piece of information would you like to share with residents on how can they make themselves their home, their next drive, or a fun activity safer? Knowing all this, you got 150 years of experience here almost, and what are all those lessons over the years? What are you going to tell people? So,
Best thing is common sense. Pay attention, and smoke detectors do save lives, and it's repetitious, but it's true. Like, we don't get near the fatalities nowadays because everybody's got a smoke detector pretty well. Now, they don't maintain it like they should, but it's helping. It definitely is. But on the road, pay attention and try not to get distracted and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of car accidents shouldn't happen. And again, comes back to common sense. And that's the biggest plus right now, is try to get people to use their common sense. But anyway, that's it.
Yeah, I find, especially before you go out to do anything, prepare yourself before you go. No matter what you're doing, any activity or anything, think of what may happen. You're out there. Think about it, and maybe it won't happen then. And if you're on the highways and you do see emergency personnel that are alongside the road, give them some leeway, move over, slow down while you're going by them. They're out there trying to make it safe for you, so you should make it safe for them as well.
Wayne?
Yeah, no, I certainly legislation has helped big time. In my time, we started out, we wasn't wearing seatbelts, and that helped quite a bit. And if you're drinking and driving, and it's been curtailed a fair amount. Now we have some drugs to deal with, but like Reid said, you can't beat common sense. And there's so many things you can do in research on the internet. But fire prevention is key. 365 days a year, not just during fire prevention week. And there's help there to design with the smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors and things that make your home safer. So that's what I would say. Fire prevention 365.
Yeah, and I'll add, like, I think people need to think about things a little bit differently when they're going to do something. It's like, what could actually happen? What is the worst case scenario? And maybe should I try to avoid that possible worst case scenario? We tend to be pretty optimistic on that won't happen to me, but it happens to somebody, because these vehicles I got to roll out quite often, and they're going for somebody, right? So, and carbon monoxide really glad you brought that one up. That's important. I lost a firefighter that I worked with and his wife to carbon monoxide out west, and it just see that those moments are, you got a moment there that you could save a life, right? And so, and smoke detectors, I'll add, in case anybody's listening, have in your bedroom and then out in outside in your hallways.
Mental well-being is something we all have a responsibility to ourselves to be aware of and to look for ways to improve through intentional actions, such as getting outside or seeking professional help. As a responder, consider taking mental health first aid, which has been very important for the work I do, interacting with people during large emergencies, from residents to responders. If you are in urgent need of help in Canada, dial or text 988. You deserve to be heard. They are there to listen. It is a safe spot to talk 24 hours a day, every day of the year.
When you're looking at mental well-being, and this could be a challenging experience as a volunteer. I mean, this is, I think, one of the things that always stuck with me as a volunteer. You're at home, you're sound asleep, and you get this call that comes in, has a profound impact on your mental well-being when you're done, right? And life doesn't stop, right? You go home. And I can remember going home sometimes and it was breakfast or it was a meal and I'm supposed to sit there and be normal. And after, going through whatever it was. And so you got to return home to be a spouse, a parent, a worker, whatever you are. So the Bridgewater Fire Department had back when I was in place, lots of supports for after events. And that included critical incident stress debriefings, and good support for amongst our crew. We did lots of things with each other to support each other. So what are your thoughts on the importance of mental well-being, and what would you like friends and family of emergency workers and responders to know?
One of the things that really strikes to me, and it's all right to be sad about it. And it's all right to say you're not okay. Admit that part of it and seek the help that you really need. Talk to a friend. You might have a friend that you're really close to that you can talk to tell stuff that'll never talk anywhere else about it. It really helps. And admitting that, yes, something did bother me. Confronting it head on. Then you have a way to deal with those emotions, and you can balance them off. One of the big things that I often do is I say, the call came in. They're looking for my help. I had no control of what happened to get to that point. I can sort of control my take to it as I'm doing the emergency. However, I still have no control of the outcome at the end of the day. All I'm doing is doing the best I can to help make the outcome better, if I can. And that really helps the thought process of going through it. Admitting that you do have a problem from time to time, get through it. That's the big key right there. You have to admit it, and it's all right to admit that you had a problem. You don't have to be ashamed.
This is at least the second time I've heard that advice from you, Mike. Right? So it's and it is so key, right? So
Back in our day, like the old days, the 70s, the 80s, whatever, there was no help. And if you had an issue, you had to suck it up. And you was expected to suck it up and didn't talk about it. And that was the worst thing we could have done. So nowadays, it's so much better, like Mike says. It's so much better because I got old issues in the back of my mind that I keep blocking out. But someday one of them is going to pop out and say, But it's changed, which is good. It's definitely good.
Yeah, they never go away. We've all seen stuff and we've all done stuff. But the thing I used to tell my crew and members is a lot of times what was going to happen was determined before we got paged. And there was nothing we could do but do the best we can. And actually, I go out there on some of those calls and I really focus on what I'm doing. I try to block out stuff around me and just focus on what I have to do at that particular time to get the job done.
Yeah.
And one time I can remember, no kills or car accidents. I was holding a woman's hand in the front seat of a car. Her husband was dead on the driver's side. And all I did was for her to hold her hand and talk to her. And we got through it together.
Yeah.
So, you know, but it's hard. And I still got days. We didn't have any name for what it was, but we all lived through it.
Yeah.
And we continue to live through it.
Mm.
Yeah.
But talk to somebody. Yeah. Get help.
Yeah. Yeah. I had one of those that, from here that crept out and got me. And it was
Yeah.
really, it was interesting unpacking it. So it kind of came out during the COVID time, and it was after I'd done some pretty gnarly wildfires. So we weren't sure what was. Like when I started, I went into counseling and they kind of walked me through and teaching me what and taking me back in time. And it took a lot of digging.
Yep.
But it actually was, it's called Mike. You'll remember this one to a T, but out in Highway 103. And we had 2 dead, 2 alive, and 1 trapped.
Yeah.
And you came up over that bank. I'll never forget the look on your face that day. I grabbed your hand and you came up, and it was that night. When it came down to it, was really, it was a ugly call. But with some good in it, I will say. I always thought there was some good in it. But what got me was you walking up the back of the rescue. I was on the rescue, and we had to stop, and you had to tell everybody that was on the truck to call home to see if where the kids were, because we didn't know who was in the vehicle. And
Was that
we had young
mile marker
children.
109?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that we had some young firefighters on the rescue truck, and I wouldn't let them go right away.
Yeah.
I knew the people there, and I knew who could handle it,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't let them go. But I still, every time I drive past marker 109,
Yeah.
I remember.
And it was that, that's it, right? It was that moment. It was the effect that it had on the other guys, and you know what I mean? And it stuck. That stuck. The other stuff didn't stick. It was fascinating, but it was I get triggered by heat and gasoline and stuff like that. The smells that we had that night. So it was kind of thing. So, but it's all those years later, I don't know how many years it was. Well over 15 years after. That's when I told them kind of. So, yeah. So yeah, really important stuff to talk about, and it's good. And I since then I've I never used to talk to my spouse or Della about it, and since then I've told her some of the stuff. She's actually like, she's gone, and she had memories of me coming back, and she's like, what happened on that night or this time? So I'd tell her the story, and it's like, and she'd be wondering if I'm okay, and I was like, oh yeah, that's fine. Like work through that one, right? But so on that, we're going to flip to the other side, but humor is a big part of it, right? And this is a department that really taught me. And a lot of this felt here.
Oh, me?
Yeah. Yeah, you never knew what you were going to hear across the radio from Reid sometimes. So, humor is a big part of the fire service. It's a big part of all emergency services. Do you have a story you can tell about how humor broke through a tough moment?
You had to laugh and joke and make different stuff, and you had to keep talking. Don't keep it inside. So humor was big.
Yeah.
And we got away with murder. You can't get away with that now, but as much. But years ago, you could say stuff and do stuff, and it broke the ice.
Yeah.
And that's all I can say.
Yeah.
Todd was a good one for that.
Yeah.
Todd Kirk.
Yeah.
Yeah. He used to say some
Definitely
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you definitely had to have a little bit of humor when you're
Yeah.
out there. It sort of breaks the ice, takes a little bit of the pressure off.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's little jokes, right? Like sometimes it's little stuff. Like sometimes a guy will walk by. He's like, "What's going on here?" Well, it was a fire.
How did it start?
Yeah.
Don't really know.
I don't really know. You guys seen a firefighter in anywhere?
No, you gotta release it.
Yeah. I remember on some of our tougher calls, I mean, that was one thing we would try to do in the week or two after. There would be some moment where we could get together and have some good laughs. We got a games room upstairs. We'd get together and just have some fun together and enjoy each other's company in a different way. So That was a big one for me.
A lot of pranks.
Yes.
A lot of pranks them days. Like,
Yeah.
you wouldn't get away with it today, but
A lot of rubber duckies.
oh,
All right, Reid, I got to pull a little bit on you. So talk about pranks. Let's talk about a guy like Dave Wynn. I'm sure there's some.
oh,
stories
Dave,
on
I owe
Dave
him
that
big
we-
time.
Yeah. So Dave was.
He's not on my books yet because
Yeah.
he did so many pranks behind the scene that I didn't realize until after he went into the Mounties.
Yeah.
But he got away with murder with me because they wrapped my van one night behind the fire hall with shrink wrap all the way around and underneath and all wicket.
Yeah.
And then the worst one, he probably initiated this one. I was here at a meeting and I drove home past the Mountie station with my little Chev truck, backed into my garage. Next morning, I pulled out of my garage, drove down by the Mountie station, made a big U-turn around Home Hardware parking lot, and I was dragging a dummy behind me. A 6-foot dummy made out of fire hose, weighed a ton, and I went all that distance dragging this dummy. And I know that son of a gun is something to do with it. And probably some of you guys too, but I think Dave Wynn Knott was on there somewhere. But he was sleek. He was sneaky.
Yeah.
Oh, the bastards. He got me so many times, but I got him back a couple times too.
Oh yes.
Now maybe it was a repeat, I don't know, not repeat, but revenge.
Yeah.
But he was good. But I still owe him.
Yeah, exactly. I think we all do.
Yeah.
He was the worst.
Yeah.
He would take paramedic gel or peanut butter and put it up underneath the door handles,
oh,
and stuff
boy.
like that. And
Pretty near every day that, but
I remember a call over on where we were Dufferin, I think, and I moved your vehicle. And then you were like, where'd you put my vehicle? I was like, it's over there. And it wasn't, he moved it way up the street. It was just sitting randomly in the middle of the road, up lights flashing. so it was like, Wynn was here. Yeah.
You bet.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
He was. It was. He was relentless. And
Yeah.
you know, I never trusted him when he was
Oh,
around.
no.
So I have to bring up one other one. Do you remember anything about a fish in your vehicle? Remember?
What, one?
One?
Which vehicle?
Oh, yeah.
Reid used to have a little problem with fish ending up inside his vehicle.
Manifold,
It would
no.
not be found. A little smelly.
Yeah.
You have a book, a documentary, or a resource that you recommend for someone that wants to learn about what we do and what you do and what you've done? So, any thoughts, sir?
To me, I always tried, I know we have OGs, SOGs, no Ps, and
Yeah.
but if you follow the NFPA standard, that's a good document and it helps you through qualifications, what's required, how many men's required on the scene, and that's a great document. And that's the minimum standards.
Yeah.
It's not the maximum, but if you can follow that, the NFPA, then that's a good guideline.
Yeah.
Especially in the fire service.
Good.
There is no real good book, except for that, on common sense. And that's unfortunate this time of day and age. But if there was, that would help a lot. But common sense will be your best friend.
Yeah.
And history books, it's nice to have history books. You can go back and learn about what happened years ago. Because once you know your history, you can determine your future. So you look back, see what happened, yada, yada, yada. And then, okay, this could happen again. So try to study old history books and old history. Yeah.
Yeah. And on that note, you're working on an update.
Yeah,
to the
and it's all
Bridgewater
pretty
Fire
all done.
Department,
Yeah, their 150th anniversary, and you got some pictures for me.
Yeah.
So-
And so there'll be it's really good to look at those and
Yeah.
have that history alive. And
Yeah.
How about you, Mike?
Me being in building construction and whatnot, Phoenix Chief Brendan Sandy, you know who I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
Mm.
He did building construction as a firefighter, and that really impressed me quite a bit on what they had put in that fall. And it was a real good learning experience, even though I am a contractor.
Yep.
I never thought of some of the things that were in that book to think about when you're out there fighting fires. So
Yeah.
it was really a key
Yeah, yeah, and that's it. No one building construction. Ultimately, you need it when it's deconstruction when we're there. So
Yeah.
and the buildings there's so many different types of buildings.
Mm.
That's the interesting thing. And I tell people when they come to Nova Scotia, if they're firefighters and stuff, I said pay attention to the buildings. So you'll see buildings here that don't see in a lot of the rest of the country because it's older here, and you get to see some neat construction and but also dangerous. So
Yeah.
yeah. So, what advice would you give, to other information officers, communicators managing a crisis, or emergencies that would help them to perform their job more effectively?
My main job now as an older guy is to tell the young people what to do and what not to do to make sure they get old like me.
Yeah.
And it's hard because I broke pretty near all the rules, so I know the good and the bad. But passing on to the young people, it's a little tricky sometimes because they read stuff in the books, yada. But again, common sense, they don't think about that too much.
Yeah.
As much as we used to years ago. But it's different.
Yeah.
Different attitudes.
I just think that the younger firefighters coming in, don't be scared to take the training. I really impress on that's very, very important.
Yeah.
Take the training that you're required to take, and then take a little bit of advice from the older members on how things are done. Not everything is always the right way to do it, but get both sides of it and try to weigh it out on your own and follow it that way. But take advice from your older members.
Amazing about this department was that we really did bring in the old parts like you guys are now. Hey, and me, I guess. But you brought in the old parts, and they would tell their stories, and you'd hear. And I love that. I mean, I just soaked that all up as a young guy, and just all the training, just to go out there and to learn all the time. It was something I really enjoyed, and
It's fun.
always learning something, doing something new, and putting myself outside of my comfort zone and doing things I never thought I'd ever do. And it took me places and allowed me to do really interesting things. So, yeah. My last question to you is, how do you maintain your mental well-being during the most intense moments of response?
Me personally, what I do is look at the situation and make sure I can protect my fellow firefighters.
Yeah.
Give them all the help and the knowledge I can to do their job. And this is where training's key. And I think if you're going to be an effective officer, an effective chief, or even a firefighter, you have to know your people. You have to know their limitations. You have to know what to do. So it's critical that you know what training they have, so you don't put them in a place where they're going to fail. You got to know your people and know their training, because you should never send anybody to do anything that they're not trained to do.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
We want everybody to go home at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And that really is the big
Yeah, you can't
Make
ruin
sure
that.
that your crew is knowledgeable on the job tasks that you want to give them.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we all want to come home.
Yeah.
The last thing that we as the hierarchy is be sitting back here and having to go knocking on the door to say, I'm sorry, but so-and-so passed. Or anything like that. That would be the worst thing that we ever have to do.
Yeah.
So it's focus on the task of hand, making sure that the right people are doing the task at the time.
Yeah, last week we had a call, and one of our guys at BA on with quite a bit of beard on, so I took him aside, not officially, I took him aside and kicked him in the butt, and I told him, no. And he's respected it, and he's going to shave.
Yeah.
But he had a BA on, and he shouldn't have. But unofficially, I had no right to kick him in the butt, but I did.
Yeah.
And he liked it, and he deserved it, and it worked out good. But that's where our guys are now. If you screw up, you're going to pay. And Mike's doing a really good job of that, because he lined up. And when he gets really wound up, we got to give him Snickers bar. So
Snickers, right?
Snickers, yeah. No, not even a Mars bar. I gave him a Mars bar a while ago. Didn't work. But now it's good. I'm glad you
Yeah.
pulled this off.
The retired guys are busier than the
Yeah, that's right.
working ones, I swear.
You
So,
better believe it.
and yeah, I really appreciate you joining me for this. It's been a journey for me that I've come from here and gone across the country and now doing this to share information really with the world. We have a global audience on here, and so I appreciate you guys sitting down with me. It's a heck of a group, and I wish that the audience knew what it was like to work with you on calls and stuff like that, and the fun we would have, and just the work that we did was good work and intense, and we did it well. And I tell you, I learned so much from you, and I really appreciate the time with you.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. So thanks very much, guys. Thank you for joining me on the Wildfires, Floods, and Chaos Communications podcast. It's been great getting this time together again, and thank you for over a century of service. You're going to keep working on that. I'll come back when you guys get 200 years. It's getting there. You're getting there. Just round her out a little bit. Yeah. And this home feels like home to me. If I could talk, the home feels like home. The hall feels like home, and that's the beauty of when you're a firefighter. This is the spot that is home, and you always, when you come back in, it still feels like home. So it's great to be back.
And one good thing is that Tim's like Santa Claus. He only comes here once a year.
But the one thing that is important as a firefighter and probably as a volunteer is that wherever you go, you always can ask the fire department stop by, and they'll always help you because you're always a brother.
Yeah.
A brother.
Yeah.
Always.
So if you ever need anything, just go to the nearest fire station.
Yep.
They're there for you.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's a neat thing. I've got
Yeah.
tattoos for my 2 fire halls I was in on my back of my legs, and every once in a while, it just happened actually before I left on this trip that one of them come up to me, started chatting with me, and come to find out that we not only had been on calls together once but twice. and I literally sat in the emergency operations center next to him for a weekend one time, and I'd forgotten. I was like,
Is that right?
it took me a moment. I was like, I do remember you. But it was great to forget those great conversations, and it happens all over the place.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you go. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. So I can't. If you want to get in the fire service, it's a wonderful thing to do, and you can go places.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Hang on.
Thank you.
All right.
9 minutes over.
Oh, time and a half now.
Yeah, time and a half. But
Time and a half, long time.
no, we didn't do too
You
bad.
didn't even cry. That was impressive. Oh, God bless him.
I had some paper towels back.
When I started this podcast back in 2024, I hoped to do this episode. I'm thankful for my lifelong friends and brothers who took the time to sit down with me. I was a proud member of Crews 1, 3, and 4 during my junior and senior years in the Bridgewater Fire Department, and it was Chief Reid Whynot who gave me my first role as a public information officer during a disaster on an icy, cold February morning over 20 years ago. Head over to communicationspodcast.com for everything. Guest information and links, and scripts and images, show notes, video and audio versions, photos, and you can send us reviews and guest ideas. If you like this episode, take a listen to any of our episodes from Season 1, where we unpack our wild experience with the 2023 wildfires in Columbia-Shuswap, Squamish-Lillooet, and Caribou regions of British Columbia. Thank you for joining the Wildfires, Floods, and Chaos Communications podcast, a production of Butterfly Effect Communications, copyright 2026. We are masters of doom and gloom, bringing calm to chaos. Goodbye. Hear me later.